Hello, everybody. Rob Mazak here. This is Thursday evening, the 23rd of April. I am a psychic medium, and I talk a lot about many things. Tend to mix up the genres, if you will, mixing most things with science and metaphysics and religion and all the above. I like to go unscripted and just talk off the cuff and see how it comes out. What I wanted to talk about tonight was our choice of words, the way we think, the way we talk, how we phrase and frame our conversations that we have with ourselves primarily, that really drive our lives. And my belief is that we're actually born negative, meaning that we don't have to think about backing out of things or talking ourselves out of things, taking chances, things like that. And I believe we do that on an automatic pilot. Our brain is the most powerful thing on the planet, but it also has the biggest advantage because it knows where we don't want to go. And it'll steer us away from those things all the time. And we need to really figure out how to change that if we want to be any more than just a cog in the wheel, someone that just comes here to eat, sleep, work, consume, die, my favorite phrase, if you've heard a lot of my podcasts. But I believe we're destined for more than that. And I believe we're born into this world to do much more than that. And I'm not saying everybody has to be Superman or somebody great, but we all want to do something that's outstanding, that people notice. We're human beings. We love to be noticed. We love to be popular. We love to be rich. We love to do all these kind of things. But we unconsciously, subconsciously talk ourselves out of it all the time. And we probably don't even know we're doing it. When I began my self-development journey after my first marriage of a very long time suddenly came to a screeching halt, I found that one of the biggest lessons that I discovered in all of that, learning to meditate, connect, hearing, listening, working on the things I was getting, what I really realized was that I was being an idiot on automatic pilot, and I was not even noticing. I didn't even pay attention, didn't catch on to the fact that I was literally subconsciously driving myself in the wrong direction. I wasn't fulfilling my roles as a husband should. I'm not saying that I wasn't in many ways, but some of the things that needed to be taken care of were not. And I'm not saying that that's the only reason things came to an end. Don't get me wrong. I had my part, right? But one of the things I really, 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 truly learned in that process is that what we say repeatedly in our minds, what we allow to repeat in our subconscious all the time, become part of us. They become what I call our perceptions, the way we perceive life. And if you've heard many of my other podcasts and talks, our perceptions drive our reality. What we perceive, what we're dialed into, what frequency on the radio, if you will, we're tuned into is what type of music is going to play, what is going to happen in our lives. And perceptions are very, very powerful because as the example I like to give many times, start just for fun, start researching red Corvettes. Go test drive them. Look at, I'm not saying you need to go buy one, just start looking at it. Put it into your mind all the time, every day. And you will all of a sudden begin to notice every red Corvette in the city. Not that they haven't been there, it's just your frequency changes. We can actually affect and change that. I can tell you we can because I've done it. And I'm not saying that I'm a perfection of a man. I'm saying that I put the work in, and now I actually notice when my thoughts are wrong and when the things in my mind are circling or going in a circle, and I'm circling the drain and I'm not on the path that I would like to be on. So I notice it now. I can no longer say I can no longer say I don't know. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose, right? So I can't blame anybody but myself, and actually none of us can. We are responsible for us. But a lot of it too comes down to the words we use, the phrases we use all the time. I remember, I don't know, it was probably earlier this year when I decided, I think I was at a different camp. Yeah, basically about a year ago, I was at a different camp. I'm in the National Guard, State Guard, and been managing camps for a little bit. And at the last camp I was at, I remember starting this phrase that really came true. I was coming into work and telling everybody I was allergic to work. If I sneezed or something, which allergies are not my friend. They affect me. Allergens seem to affect me a lot. And I every time I sneeze, I would literally say the phrase, I must be allergic to work. I said it so much, in fact, that it created almost becoming more and more sick every time I showed up for work. And once I realized that I was dooming myself, I had to change those words. If nothing else, I had to stop saying them. And let me say this too. Saying phrases and words are pretty powerful, but it's no different than having the thoughts. Thoughts, words, everything go together. Because before you can say a word, or words or phrases, you have to have the thought first. So even if you're thinking it, you can also drive your perception one way or the other. So we have to be mindful of what we're saying, what we're allowing in our life, all those kind of things. But I really wanted to kind of touch on the things we say and how we say them, that we can really twist that around and change that for the better. The other thing that is very, very powerful, which we'll touch on a little bit more, is what follows I am. You wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you go, I am old, I am tired. And your mind and your cells and your body, everything hears that. And it goes to work on your directions. Read the book by Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, and you will see cells listen, they hear you. And they're waiting on your direction to put into motion your perceptions, your ideas, your thoughts, the things you say. They are listening. Those cells are listening. They have their own mind, their own brains, if they will, according to Bruce Lipton. And I don't know if that's true or not, but the science really suggests it. But the point is, what you are telling yourself following the words I am, and I don't know what those are, what the effect are of those words in other languages. I'm just speaking of the English language because that's the only one I know. I'm sure it's similar in other languages, but you are claiming something when you do that. So you might as well claim it properly. And that kind of segues me into another part of this talk that I wanted to bring up. I was riding with a co-worker yesterday, actually. It was about 3 hours of driving and then lunch, same thing. So we were probably together nearly 5 hours. And one of the things that this coworker brought up was really interesting. She used the term might as well-ism. And I had to ask her, say that again? What exactly are you talking about? She said it's a condition of using the phrase might as well. She started that conversation like this, or description or definition like this. So most people will use that phrase in a negative way. Because apparently she had been homeless before and different things like that. Things like, I'm homeless, so I might as well become an alcoholic. I'm homeless, so I might as well do drugs. Other things might come into play, like peer pressure. My other high school friends are skipping class and smoking dope in the park, so I might as well be part of them, otherwise I won't be accepted. And you see what I mean by how easy it is to might as well a lot of situations. Can really get you into a tailspin of problems. And there's probably many other phrases that you could throw in there that mean similar things. But might as well can really, really damage a life, a career, a relationship. A relationship, for example, my wife's not providing me enough sex, so I might as well go find it somewhere else. My husband is not giving me the emotional attention I need, so I might as well find somebody that'll listen to me. And how many times can that statement get us in trouble, steer us the wrong way, and we wonder why we're where we're at? But you could really simply change that, turn that around, as my coworker says. I have the opportunity to go to college. I might as well go after that degree. Might as well get that degree. Might as well make some decent money, decent wages with that degree. I might as well use that degree to raise my family, raise my kids, my grandkids. But you see where I'm going with this, right? The might as well statement can be absolutely positive or it can be absolutely negative. I mean, I have had this business of mine since 2016. And I sit here and I talk into this mic. And I have no idea if anybody's listening. I have no idea if people really care. I've had thoughts many times, it's like, I might as well quit doing this because it hasn't created a lot of money. It hasn't gone where I thought it should. I might as well just close up the doors, close up the business, and go on my merry way and do something else. I might as well join the masses, have a regular job, and just go on and do what everybody else is doing. I might as well, because it doesn't seem to be serving me. But on the other note, the reason I've stuck with it, to be honest, is because I'm going to keep talking, because for one thing, my spirit guide has told me to keep doing it because it's important. So I might as well listen to my spirit guide because I have never been steered wrong. So I might as well pay attention to that. I might as well do what I'm told. I might as well go ahead and do this because one day this may catch on. One day there might be that one opportunity that links up with someone, their interest becomes piqued. I might as well continue because one day, it just might pay off. It just might be what I've always envisioned it to be. I might as well keep going because honestly, what else do I have to do in my spare time? I work out, sure. I play soccer, sure. I do a lot of things, but I might as well continue to share the wealth, to share with people my information, the things that I've gotten, the experiences I've had, the experiences of other clients. I might as well give people hope. But you see how that is so much different, right? And we have to choose our words wisely. And we have to be more mindful of what is actually happening in our mind. Because we have like over 60,000 thoughts a day. And then, don't get me wrong, there's no way you can mind every one of them thoughts. But you can certainly stop and take a little extra time and listen to what's going on in your mind and realize that you need to consciously and verbally and with thoughts insert other ideas. You might as well. See how I did that? You might as well, because what's it going to hurt? Because if you continue to do what you're doing, think like you're thinking, speak like you're speaking, you're going to continue to have the same outcomes in your life. And I don't think anybody really wants to do the same thing every day, all the time, have the same experiences. Now, don't get me wrong, some people's lives are really magical and they're exactly where they want. So I'm not talking to people like that, because obviously they must have the thoughts and the words and the ideas and the surroundings that support where they want to be, or otherwise they wouldn't be there. We have to do things more on purpose. We have to speak more on purpose. You might as well. I love that phrase, might as well-ism. It sounded like a very, very strange term to use. It isn't. How many times have we used phrases and we have no idea what they mean? And that's the other thing. There's a lot of terms and phrases we use all the time, and we don't really understand what energy they carry and what the original meaning was. My biggest point is that we actually break down what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're allowing in our life, the types of music, what we eat, what we do for exercise, what we do for work, what our goals are, and put some actual effort into analyzing that sometime during your day, if not many times during your day. And ideally, the best time to really, in my opinion, to really analyze and put out intentions and look at different ways that your life could go or should go or you want it to go is right before you go to sleep, because your subconscious is what really runs your life, and it's also the biggest part of you that goes to work on the things you are saying and the things you are believing, the things you hold as truth. And if you go to sleep at night with the wrong thoughts, the wrong words, the wrong might as wells, then your subconscious has the 6, 8 hour, 10 hours, however long you sleep, to work on those commands. Why aren't we going to sleep with the proper commands? Why aren't we going to sleep and allowing our subconscious to actually do what we would like it to do instead of what it's just automatically doing? Your subconscious is like a private. And your conscious mind and your thoughts and your words and everything that you're allowing energetically to affect you is like the general speaking to the private. The private just salutes and goes on. It doesn't question. It doesn't even second guess. It's like, okay, you stare in the mirror. I feel really old. I am tired. I am sick. I am sleepy. Your subconscious goes, okay, yes, sir, moving on to the goal of being tired, old, sick, sleepy. Wow. I think if people really took a moment to understand and analyze how the mind works, at least basically, I can tell you there's many, many, many layers of consciousness of the mind, because, I've spent my fair share of time working in an ICU and in the operating room and things like that. And, anesthesiologists will tell you there's like 32 levels of consciousness or something like that. It's just a lot. So when I talk about conscious mind and subconscious mind, it's just the major parts of the mind. And there, obviously it can be more intricate, but why do we need to do that? Let's make it simple. Let's keep it easy. Choose your words. Read the right things. Fill your mind with things that are better than watching horror movies or staring at all the tragedy on the news, and filling your mind with all the things that are negative, and you wonder why your life doesn't become more positive or isn't more positive. You truly do have to feed yourself, feed your mind what you want it to work on. You also got to remember, though, a lot of people use the word ego, and I don't know why I'm sliding into this segue, but I think it is important. A lot of people think that your ego keeps you from doing a lot of things, or it forces you into doing things that don't make sense. Well, I did write a story on this, and during one of my meditation journeys, I met my ego. I know it sounds kind of silly, but the point of it all is the message I got through that made so much sense, is that the ego is not really the bad guy. The ego is that balance, that mediator between the conscious mind, who's basically Mr. and Mrs. Stupid, and the subconscious mind, which runs about 95% of what you are and who you are and what you do and all those things. But the ego is that check and balance between the two to make sure that we are not getting into danger. We are not doing things that are so far out there that they're not wise. And so it helps create some balance between the two major parts of your mind. And so the ego is important. All parts of your mind are important, just like all parts of your body are important. I mean, if you didn't, it's no good to see if you can't process that in your mind. Your mind has to be solid to actually work on all the five senses and bring it in and make sense of it, right? You got to have a hand to help do this. You got to have a foot to do this. I mean, I'm sure you all understand that there's no lesser part of your body, right? And so all you got to do is hurt one part of your body and you'll realize just how much you actually use that part of your body. So the point is that everything works together. You really are in charge of your destiny and what you want. Part of the problem is that we just really don't know what we want when we grow up. We don't know what we want to be when we grow up. What do? Might as well go to work. We might as well go to college like everybody else. We might as well get a degree that doesn't matter. We might as well get married. We might as well have kids. We might as well do what the world expects. Why aren't you doing things like, I might as well go after that crazy dream that I have. I just might get it. I might as well go on and chase that dream of being an astronaut or chase that dream of being a professional athlete. Might as well. What do you got to lose, right? You either make it or you don't. You have to be really careful. You really do have to be careful how you speak to yourself and about your goals and your dreams. And then the biggest thing is you really have to spend some time. You really do. You really have to spend some time and decide what direction you'd like to go towards, what goals you would like, what dream you've had for a long time that you'd like to chase. You might as well. I mean, we're all going to die eventually, so you might as well do something different. Come on, guys, might as well. But I'm not saying these things as if it's easy for me either. So I'm 63 and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so to speak, right? I say that loosely. And I say that because I did a little meditation before this talk. I use meditation for lots of things, but tonight I'm like, well, I'm just here. I just want you to show me what I need to hear, what I need to know, what knowledge I need, or whatever. Something that I need to work on, whatever. Almost immediately, my spirit guide popped in, who's, if you listen to another podcast, her name is Quantum, which is an interesting name, right? But anyway, there's a backstory on that. However, but what she was showing me was that she sat down in front of me, it's like we were sitting at a table across from each other. And she slid this blank piece of paper towards me, face up where I could see it. And there was like a little signature place at the bottom, but the page was blank. And I said, so what is this? She said, this is your contract. I'm like, well, it's blank. She said, well, it is time for you to decide what you want to do now. You've completed many things in your life. You've reached a lot of milestones, a lot of goals. And now it's time to start looking into the future. What is it you really want to do from this point on? And I really had to think about it, which is hard to do in meditation if you think about it. But I thought, well, I have an open contract and I get to decide what I want. I might as well take my 3 wishes, so to speak, like I got a genie in front of me. I might as well. And so I came up with some things, and it took a minute. It really did take a minute. And I had to really put some thought into it. It really isn't as easy as you think. And I'm not saying my life is bad and I don't have great things and I'm not doing what I like to do. I love doing this military thing. And it is a passion of mine. I love taking taking chaos and making order out of it, which I do every day. But I know that I have other missions. I've been given very clear direction that what my mission is here. And although I'm doing this military thing because I was directed by my spirit guide, a year and a half ago or so, to put the uniform back on, here I am. So I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to, but I'm being offered a blank sheet of paper, a blank and open contract that I can decide what I want. And then once I've decided those things, I get to sign it. And I thought that was really a clever way for my spirit guide to get me to think about what I really wanted to do moving forward. Because I'll tell you guys, I have a bad habit of chasing lots of rabbits. I just want to be good at everything. I want to do things. I want to get lots of certifications. I just love to learn and to delve into so many things. In order to become really good at anything, you have to kind of have more of a narrow focus. So I always have to bring myself around and remind myself that you can't chase 4 rabbits and catch all of them. You're likely to catch one, catch that rabbit, do whatever you're going to do with it, and then you have to go after another rabbit. So just like in other podcasts, it's like chase one goal, get that goal, and then don't just shine up that trophy and stay, living in your past. Go after another rabbit, go after another goal, another mountaintop. Most of us might as well ourselves out of so many things. But I am challenging you to actually might as well yourself into a positive future. Might as well yourself into the proper thoughts, the proper direction, the proper goals. You might as well, because once again, you're not getting out of this alive. You might as well take some chances, because we're all going to die anyway, someday. I'm not saying we need to rush it. I'm just saying you might as well do something while you have the chance. We are here, we are born under the most astronomical odds of like 400 trillion to 1 that you're actually even here. So you and me and everybody else that's been born and has had the experience of a human life are really the chosen ones. We are here because we are designed to do something, to learn something, to have an opportunity to live a life, to have challenges, to do all of these things. So you're here. You're here under the most astounding odds. You might as well do something with it. You might as well experiment and try some of these things we're talking about, because you never know. It just might work. I can give you lots and lots and lots of examples of how it's worked in my life. Not offering that as proof. I'm just saying you might as well give it a try. Write it down. Recite it every day. Whatever works for you. But I challenge you to get out of your own way. Start speaking to yourself properly. Start thinking to yourself properly. Start surrounding yourself with the proper energy, and stop allowing things into your life that are not going to support where you would like to go. And lastly, decide where you want to go. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be anything big. Your dream could be very small compared to what some people's are, but it's your dream, and it's your goal, and it's your life. You might as well live it. I will digress here, one of my favorite ways to end with that statement. But I would really love to hear from you guys about these types of things. I honestly don't get a lot of people that reach back out to me, at least not through this method. But I would like to hear from you. Perhaps we can collaborate with your ideas and my ideas. And these are just my ideas, my experiences. But you can reach me at my website. Go to my website at lifebymazak.com, bymazak.com. Find my contact page. There's a lot of ways on there to reach me. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. You will hear from me again. Stay strong and live your life.